Welcome back. Episode number, I don't even know which number we're on. 21 now, man. I think it's crazy how far it's come in about a year doing this stuff. But I got a gentleman here, JavaAkuma, joining me for the podcast episode, what I believe is 21 question mark. But
What's up, guys?
yeah, another awesome collector. Really enjoy the YouTube content and just checking out the different things you got going on. World traveler, of course. Definitely look forward to getting into that discussion and kind of talking about what you got going on here in the next couple months, in the next year or so, with maybe worlds going on. But Java, if you could just please introduce yourself to the people out there, it'd be great, man.
Yeah, I'm JavaAkuma. I have a YouTube channel and I post Pokemon card related content. I started out trying to be like the next big PokeTuber, PokeRev with all the openings and everything, kind of the highly edited stuff. And then I just realized that competition's way too high for that. So I was just like, I'm just gonna have fun with it. I'm just gonna post, kind of catalog my journey through stuff. So whenever I buy stuff, I post it. Whenever I get graded cards back, I show off the grades, stuff like that, and just kind of each little thing that happens throughout the course of being in the hobby. I like to, give a little update too. So yeah, that's kind of me on YouTube.
Oh yeah. So just like, I guess, your collection journey, I gotta know like where it began. Obviously, maybe the video games. A lot of people I've been hearing lately didn't play the video games. So where were you when it all started?
Yeah, that's wild to me. I was like 7 when the games came out, so it was like perfect timing.
Yeah.
And I think that Christmas I got the Game Boy game, Game Boy Pocket. My brother and I did from our grandpa, and that like started the entire craziness. Shortly after the games, I think I got into the cards. Fell out of the cards around the Neo set. I think Neo Genesis is like the last hollows that I saw in my childhood binder, and then got into sports, collected a lot of football and stuff, early 2000s. Now none of that is worth anything. It just sits in the closet.
Pretty much.
And then I got into video games. So I got into video games probably 2014, 2013. It was kind of a way for me to figure out a way to bond with my dad a bit better, because he used to go to garage sales and stuff, and he was an antique collector, so he used to do like old railroad lanterns and stuff like that. And one time I was visiting him and I was just like, I wonder if there's something that I could collect that I think would be cool. And I kind of landed on video games. We didn't have any Nintendo systems growing up, so first thing I bought was the Nintendo Entertainment System, complete in the original box. And then from there, I started going to garage sales, doing all of that, and amassed a pretty big collection. Sold it all off to pay for school eventually. I think at the time, maybe like 2015, 2016, it was around a $30,000 collection. So paid off a lot of my student loans with that. I don't want to think about how much it would be worth today.
Yeah, it's better.
It scares me. I regret it all the time selling it, but it is what it is. And then got into Pokemon again. I was a Twitch streamer for a few years, so I was deeply embedded into that world. And in 2020, when all the big streamers started opening boxes and things, started to get nostalgic. Bought a Darkness Ablaze box, pulled the Charizard in the first box,
Nice.
And then that just kicked everything off. So
hell yeah,
now I'm here.
That's crazy. So basically, you said about 2015, everything got sold?
Yeah, 2015, 2016, yeah.
Wow. Yep. That's crazy. So is it just like eBay selling, or is that just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of my eBay feedback is probably from all those video games that I sold through, yeah.
That's awesome. Yep. Very cool, man. That's
yep.
I also regret I had a Yu-Gi-Oh collection that I had sold. That my Pokemon collection I never sold. My parents gave it away, which blows. But yeah, the selling and regretting is just, yeah, it's tough to get through. And it's cool the video game stuff though. So obviously grading video games wasn't much of a thing when you were picking all that stuff up. Was it more complete in box stuff you were picking up?
Yeah, mostly single cartridges, complete in box. Hardly any sealed stuff. Mostly Nintendo stuff though. I really focused on Mario, Zelda, the big names, and always tried to make sure that if I had a double, I sold a double. I tried to always keep my inventory basically without a cost basis. Tried to always come out clean from whatever haul that I had, and then kept stuff and held it back as a collection for a while.
Yep. Now you have graded with WADA now, right?
Yeah. I have.
What? Not a big fan?
It was really bad timing.
Yeah.
I sent it in when they basically didn't have any plastic, so they couldn't
They were out of the DVDs.
Yeah,
DVD
and
size.
I sent in 2 Wii U games, Breath of the Wild, and they sat for a year before they came back to me because they didn't have the plastic. So that was rough. I want to give them another shot because I've heard that it's better now, and I don't want to just base my entire thoughts about them on that one bad experience. But it's tough to go back to it. I'm excited for CGC though. I want to try them out too and see what's up with them.
100%. I had told some of my friends, like, I have some WADA games that I would, if I could and knew how to crack these, I probably would and send them to CGC. So I'm a big fan of their labels and what they got going on, and yeah, it'll be very interesting when they get into it beginning of next year.
Yeah, that's one thing about WADA I do like is their cases are awesome. They're like fortresses. Like I wouldn't even want to think about cracking one of them things because you could just slam that on the ground probably and it would be totally fine.
Yep, I'd have to drill like multiple holes in it and probably use Sawzall or something. It'd be a disaster.
It's impressive. They're definitely well kept in those things.
Yeah, it'd be a video. Like I don't think I've ever watched somebody crack a WADA. I'm sure they exist though. So I'm going to look it up after this how you crack a WADA slab. But yeah, that thing is definitely a fortress. It's something you don't want to mess with.
No,
that's the biggest thing I don't like about them is like the N64 cartridges that are sideways.
Oh,
the WADA labels are still not good for it really. So, but
CGC seems like you're gonna say I think the same thing.
Yeah, CGC's got the fixed label or whatever, just like VGA. They both look okay in that, so it's gonna be a awesome couple of years. See all the competition and the prices dropping, hopefully, and China and everything gets back to normal with plastic supply and just
hopefully
it'll be sick. Very cool. What other collectibles? Obviously, video games, Pokemon cards. Some you don't do much sports. Maybe just like local sports legends from Minnesota, or.
When I was growing up, I focused on those players like Chris Carter's, the Randy Moss, the Dante Culpepper, those players from that era. And so I have a lot of those in my binders. I have a lot of other players as well. Recently graded a couple Tom Brady rookie cards. They're like the only cards that are halfway decent.
Wow.
So that was pretty nice. But yeah, don't do much sports nowadays. I have no clue about sports. It doesn't make any sense to me. So I just steer clear of it. But it is a wild thing for sure.
Yeah, it's all the field levels, the different colored cards. Like you can have like somebody said like the current rookies have like 200 different rookie cards. I'm like, it's just wild. Too much math. Like I'm just give me a 1989 rookie card, hockey card, and it's just the only one. And there's maybe Tops and there's maybe O-Pee-Chee, like 2 different sets and way easier to track and know what the hell's happening. It's absurd. So being a Minnesota fan, Brett Favre played for you guys.
For a short time, yeah.
You a big Brett Favre fan since he played for you?
It mixed feelings.
Yeah.
he beat our asses for a long time, and we were lucky to have him for a couple of really exciting seasons. But I mean, I think I've warmed up to him. I like him more than I like Rodgers, so we could say that. But
yeah. Now the Minnesota Stadium is the one that had the snow collapse the ceiling, right?
Yeah, the Metrodome.
And that game, I think, moved to Detroit, and I went to that game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think they sold the tickets for $1 a piece.
Oh wow!
Because it was like so last minute. It was like
they
2
just wanted to fill
days
the
before
stadium
the game
basically.
or something.
Yeah.
Yep. They were almost handing them out at the stadium just to get people in the stands, which was pretty cool.
Yeah. Man. Wild.
Don't happen anymore. I couldn't imagine them selling tickets for $1. Like,
yeah.
Yep. Gas by me is now like 4. It just went up 30 cents last night. It's like 4.30 again.
Oh, it went up.
Yeah,
we were almost under $3 again here.
Yeah, we were just under. We were like 3.90 for like a month and a half, and then just went up last night. So it's exciting times.
Yeah,
winter's supposed to get cheap. Well, at least up here, anyways. Gas gets cheaper, but it's bull crap, man. It's bull crap.
Yeah, I work from home, so luckily it doesn't affect me too much. But yeah.
Brutal. Yep, that definitely saves you some money. That's for damn sure. It goes right into the pocket, so you can buy more collectibles. That's all.
Exactly.
The collection goals. Obviously, you do work a lot with some Japanese cards, and you buy through Buy. Like, what are your goals? Because I've seen such a vast array watching some of your returns and stuff like that. Just all the different things you've been getting back. Is there a certain sets or certain cards you are focusing on?
I always try to set a goal, and then I always think about like, well, I could put that money into flipping more things, and then I can make more money, and then eventually I'll get to a goal, and then I just never get to a goal. So most of my stuff is a collection that's always for sale at the right price, kind of like a catch 'em all collectibles or something like that. But I would like to eventually get to a point where I'm actually holding some things for an extended period of time, stuff that I really enjoy. But I'd have to figure out what sets, really are, draw me in and figure out the best way to go about doing that. But right now it's primarily flipping and everything's kind of inventory and that stuff.
Really? Okay, so what there's got to be one card. I have one card that I would never sell. There's no price tag because it is my only card from my childhood. Do you have something that you wouldn't sell, no price tag?
I pretty much have everything from my childhood binder still. I don't think I've sold very much from it. I didn't know the difference between first edition Shadowless anything when I was growing up. I have a Shadowless Venusaur. It's absolutely terrible condition. There's silvering like right in the middle of the card, like everywhere. It's horrible. It probably in and out of my pocket so much. But yeah, that's still in the binder. That's probably the one card where it's like, I probably, just because it's kind of not worth anything anyway, monetary, but it has that value to me. So I probably wouldn't part with that. That's a historical item for me.
Yep. Do you just want to keep it in the binder, or is there any plans to maybe encapsulate it just to preserve it?
It'd be cool to grade it. If it would be pretty cool to do like a CGC with the thing on the back, just like, Tyler's childhood binder or whatever, and put, that card in it. I think that would be pretty awesome. Yeah.
Yep. That's exactly what I did with my Charizard. I put my initials and I put childhood on it, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah. It's $5 well spent for the pedigree on the back.
Yeah, that'd be cool for a card like that.
Yep. So you said flipping. Are you primarily dealing in modern, or is it a lot more buying from Buy, grading, selling?
Primarily buying from Buy. I have been dipping more into Japanese modern and going for like the pristines and perfect 10s at CGC. That's been a lot of fun actually to do. 2 different degrees of success.
Yeah.
But that's been fun, and it's nice to have cards sitting around that you can kind of pad out a submission with if you need to. So I have a Charizard box that's literally just Japanese like set Charizards that if they get like 9 5s are like $30. And if I need a couple cards to throw in a submission, I'll throw a couple Charizards in and send it off. So I mostly right now, mostly mid-era, hollows, some level X's, some primes, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But and mostly just sitting on a lot of that, waiting for PSA to get down to like $15 a card. So
Yeah, so speaking of that, they just dropped to 22. They were at 18 for an event for the national. Did you send anything at 18?
I probably should have. There was probably 20, 25 cards that I easily could have sent at 18, but uh, I don't know. I'm a little. There's a little part of me that's like, I because I've been doing stuff with CGC for so long now, and the turnaround times are so good that it's really tough for me to send cards to PSA for more money and like have to wait, months to get them back. But
Yep.
I really should do it eventually. It scares me now though, because I feel like old school Pokemon and some other people have been talking about their 18s coming back, and they've been surprised by how harsh PSA has been on them for grades and pack fresh stuff. And it's like, I a little worried now.
Yeah, I think CGC bent me pretty hard when I first got into grading, and I just bought a bunch of those modern Gengars, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I bought 10 of them off eBay TCG Player, and one of them's going to PSA. The rest of them aren't. I think
Yeah.
one of them's going to get a 10 because it's got no whitening. I focus on a card that basically looks perfect. The centering's good, no whitening, and if it's got whitening, I'm not even going to risk it because I don't want a freaking 9. Like like CDC's like tortured my brain enough to where I've learned and
Yeah.
but I'm sure some of these could get a PSA 10. It's sad. It's a sad time to live in, but the PSA turnarounds piss me off, man. It's 120 to 150 days for the $22 slot.
5
And when
months.
they drop the
Yeah.
price more, it's going to be the same frickin' turnaround time. It's not going to be better than 120 to 150 business days. And
Yeah.
bulk being that long, I don't think I don't know. I just did a submission to CGC just to try out to see how they grade like non-hollow cards because I got really screwed by them last time. It's been a long time since I've graded those there, so I don't know. I really want to send to CGC non-hollows and stuff for my personal collection, but I want a freaking 10.
Yeah.
And
They're
ESA
tough.
seems like more of a chance, but I don't know
Yeah.
at this rate, man. It's tough.
Yeah, the few perfect 10s I have gotten from CGC, actually that Gengar in Japanese was one that I recently got. I think I sold it for nearly $200, $175, something like that. So it's pretty nice.
Yeah, and you graded a CGC Perfect 10 Radiant Charizard, right? The Japanese one?
Yeah.
That one
Yep.
turned some pretty good money pretty quick too. I
Yeah, I
remember.
think it was 400 some dollars, I think, somewhere around there. Yeah, it was pretty wild.
So are pristine 10s like you're selling some pristine 10s, I'm sure. Are they similar prices to PSA 10s? I haven't been following modern.
That's how I price them.
Yeah.
Typically, I will, because pristine 10s are, I mean, there's not going to be as many comps just because they're a lot more rare. So
Yeah.
I do look at PSA 10 prices like solds and stuff, and I will price close to that. But I'm a person who always takes best offer if it's close enough. So I'm not really hard stuck at a lot of my prices. So I try to be fluid.
Yep.
So
Yeah. So how the hell do you get into buy? Because I did it once and I got screwed again,
yeah,
and I got fake cards.
yep,
Though I think I purchased twice. The first time was probably real cards. The second time it was fake cards. Rightfully so. It's too good to be true. That's the way it goes. So I wasted like $70. So how the hell do you get in Discover by E, and how are you able to find these lots? And because I have no luck ever.
I think it was I don't know who talked about it first, but it was someone on YouTube just mentioned buying cards through like a middleman. And the first one that I tried actually was Joss. Is a different proxy middleman. It's probably less known, but I bought a collection through there, and that was rough. It was in the description. It was like, most of the items are beautiful and like all this stuff, and you get them in, and like 90% of the hollows are bent or have some sort of
Yeah.
crease, and it was bad because it was a couple $1,000 thing. It was like complete from base all the way to rocket. I think like all the hollows, all the a lot of bulk, but It was brutal. And then my second purchase was I bought a Mario and Luigi Pikachu, and they were fake. And that was through Buyee. And as you know, Buyee, not big fans of giving you refunds or really anything in terms of buyer protection. So, but I think I just kind of kept going with it. I definitely, every time that I buy from them, what I do, I'm going to give away my trade secrets now. No.
All right.
What I do basically is throughout the course of the month, I create like a buy list. So if there's certain sets that I'm looking at wanting to buy that month, I'll go through like every listing of each card that I see on Buyee. And if they look clean, I will like save them on a list basically. And then every month I have a certain amount of money that I want to put toward buying stuff from Buyee. So when that time comes where I get that paycheck, I go through and I do spend like an hour or two just buying every card that I want to off of Buyee. Every single time, I would say there's always a card or two that are completely different from the photos. They're just not the same card at all. So the more you're on there, the more you're going to run into those things. And it's definitely one thing where I see people, they're like, Buyee's a gold mine, like all this stuff, and they don't put any like disclaimers or anything in the video. It's like, no, please, people are going to try it and they're going to get scammed. But yeah, so it's really hard to mitigate the risk on that website, but it's worked out so far.
Oh yeah, some people over there probably making millions off fake cards. Millions. It's insane. Yep. It's crazy. I zero chance of getting my money back when I got burned. Zero. It was not a shot. I was like, not even worth it. I looked into it, wasn't even worth it. I'm like, the feedback, is there feedback like eBay where you could see like sellers that have positive, and because I don't remember that off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think there's a feedback percentage. Either that or they give you the total number of feedback. But I think there's a percentage that you can see. And then there's a condition listing and everything. When it comes to feedback though, if you're a buyer from like the US or the West, and you want to leave negative feedback for a Japanese seller, a lot of times they won't do it for you because they're more worried about because they're based in Japan. They're more worried about their buying reputation in Japan than they are about whether or not you got screwed. So they're not going to leave negative feedback. I've asked multiple times, like, can you leave negative feedback? Tell this guy to put his cards in a sleeve or something. And they're like, nope, we're not going to do it because we're worried about getting our own negative feedback. So it's like, all right, I guess. So I actually have a list of okay buyers, good buyers, and sellers and bad sellers. So I try to list like every seller and buyer that I come across, whether or not they're good or okay or bad. So
yeah, that makes sense. Can you block on there, you think, like at a whole account, you think?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't looked into that. One thing that was kind of wild too, and you might have experienced this as well, maybe not, but when I bought the Mario and Luigi, I asked for a refund. They rejected it, and then I went to PayPal and was like, hey, these were fake cards. I need a refund. They're like, all right, we'll take care of it for you. They took the money from Buyee, gave it back to me, and then Buyee locked my account and said, you have to pay this amount of money or else you can no longer buy on your account. So, and I had sent the proxies back to them. So they had the proxies and they were like holding my account hostage for the amount of money that I paid for the proxies. So at the beginning of whichever year it was, I just had to I had to fork over the money for the proxies to keep using the account.
Ransom money.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah. I would ask for the proxies back. I'd be like, I'm gonna send the FBI over there if y'all don't get this straight, because I need my freaking my fake cards.
Yeah.
Sell them over here.
Send them back, man.
Yeah, you could sell them on Facebook Marketplace. Not financial advice. How many fake Charizards you see on Facebook Marketplace? It freaking blows my mind. It's insane.
Yeah, I have I've only bought a few things off of Facebook. mostly I'm a part of like a dead CCG group, and I really like Full Metal Alchemist as an anime, so I've been buying up some like English Full Metal Alchemist stuff. And there was a guy that was selling a bunch of packs, and this was wild to me. I would never do this, but it was like $200 worth of packs, and he said, "Don't send me the money until you get it. I'm gonna ship it to you and then pay for it." And I'm like, I would never do that. I would never send someone like multiple hundreds of dollars worth of packs. Yeah, and I was like, "Are you sure? Because that seems weird." He's like, "Yeah, I don't care, man. It's only $200." I'm like, "Okay, must be rolling in it."
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wild.
Yeah, Facebook groups are kind of weird, man. Some people, it helps when they got a bunch of feedback though. Similar to like eBay, like you know who some of the people are reputable, but as a seller, just full sending something to somebody you don't know that hoping they pay me, like yeah, that's a little crazy, man. A little crazy. At the so the cards you wanted to send to PSA, kind of go back to that a little bit. Hoping it gets a little bit cheaper, $15 price range. Are you sending them, you think, if it is still 120 to 150 business day turnaround?
Yeah, probably. I would probably do some sort of tiered like 50 every 2 weeks or something like that, just to kind of spread it out a little bit. But yeah, I would probably still send if it was long like that. I think what I would do is I would send them out, and just if I got a bunch of PSA 5s or 6s or whatever, I'd probably crack them and then send them to CGC, because it would probably be a dent or a scratch or something somewhere. But I kind of thought about doing the opposite, sending everything to CGC, getting them back, and if anything was like a 9.5, looking at it, maybe sending it to PSA in the future. But I feel like weeding out one or the other. I'm not sure which way is the best way to go about doing that, but I think sending the PSA once it hits 15 is probably the best bet.
Yep. Do you sell pretty much through eBay solely, or is there any other?
Yeah. If I'm not at a like an in-person thing, but yeah, primarily eBay. I haven't done a lot of like PayPal when people ask for like friends and family versus goods and services or anything like that, and I'm just like, I don't want any part of that, because I have no idea what's going on, and I want to be as protected as possible if I'm selling something that's expensive. So I just do everything. I just eat the fees and do everything through eBay pretty much.
Yeah, no, that's the way to do it, especially with all the new tax laws and all that crap going down here in the U.S. It's going to be definitely pay out. It'll be easy just to print some forms at the end of the year, and all you got to do is your cost basis versus your sale price, and pay on your profits. That's it. So that'll make it easy for you.
That's it'll be my first time actually doing any of that. Like, so that'll be interesting. I'll have to get in touch with somebody to do that. But yeah, I don't think I've profited very much this year. I think I have a large inventory of things. So if those things were to sell, I would have a lot of profit, but a lot of that stuff's just sitting right now. So
yeah, I'm in the same boat. I don't have that bottom line number, but I'm probably close to even.
yeah.
As far like if I make some money and I'm gonna spend it. It's the way it's going. So it's pretty interesting. I always find it, like, thinking about the taxes and stuff, not that there's any financial advice, but just thinking about it, like when you buy a collection, say for $5,000, because one of those cards is worth $3,000, the tax thing you're supposed to do is to evenly divide it into all the different cards, so each card has a similar price point. But it makes no freaking sense, because you're gonna sell the one card, and it is just a utter mess when dealing with collectibles and stuff you've had from your childhood you're selling that you don't have receipts for, and you don't need just definitely talk to some type of CPA or something, anybody out there, and just make sure you know what you're doing from January through April. It's gonna be a ride. It's gonna be a ride.
Yeah.
There's so many Facebook, PayPal, friends and family people out there that they're just going to be punished, and they don't even see it coming. So it's going to be a lot less sellers next year. I feel like a lot less sellers.
Or a lot more consigners.
A lot more consigners.
Yeah.
Yep. So everybody go to Catch 'em All Collectibles for Buy It Now. So you could go to Z&G or Old School Pokemon or TCA Gaming for auction consignments, or PWCC or Heritage, or it's Golden. It's there's so many options out there. It's insane. It's crazy.
Yep.
What a world we live in. When are you starting your consignment business?
Never.
No,
I would only do consignments if I ever someday had a brick and mortar. I might do like in-store consignments or sell for people on eBay or whatever. But yeah, definitely not anytime soon.
Is there a goal to do any of this full time eventually in the next 5-year plan?
I would really like to. I'm really like passionate about it. I really like doing it. I get up at 6 a.m. every morning to sit on Buyee for 2 hours and just scour through listings, and sometimes in the afternoon. But yeah, I mean, I really enjoy doing it. I like my job as well, and make decent money at my job. But yeah, if I know a lot of people are like, you shouldn't start a brick and mortar because it's a bad idea and you don't need the overhead and all that. But I don't know. There's something about it. Like if there was the right small spot for not a whole ton of rent, and if it could just be me and like one other person or a family that was helping or something, like I think that would be really cool. I wouldn't need anything huge with a bunch of employees and all that, but I think a little shop somewhere where, they're like here, there's no good card shops within like, a radius, and it would be really fun to do, I think. But
yeah, I've always thought of like, I don't think an extravagant game store or something. It would be, like you said, something small where I'm doing all of my online business and all of that stuff, but also this little front kiosk where I could have people come in and sell and buy some things and interact with customers would be cool.
Yep.
That definitely that would be cool. That'd be sick.
Yeah.
100%. We had touched on a little bit about selling in person. You recently went to an event. It was a comic book event, right?
Yeah.
And you were there, probably one of the only people you mentioned with cards, and seemed to do pretty well, right? So you got any other ones planned, or talk a little bit about that?
So that event I went to was a local Comic-Con. It was very small. It was more like it was a $5 entry fee. It was more like a family, like small town event. And I was the only person with cards, singles, and there was one other guy that had some packs.
Yeah.
And I was busy the whole day. Like there was a little bit of downtime to eat at one point, and then they did like a cosplay contest toward the end of the day. So that, slowed things down for me, but we had a line the entire day. Sold a ton of like just $1 to $5 singles to a bunch of little kids that came up. A lot of times it was like, Dad, I want cards. Okay, here's $20, get 20 cards or whatever. And it was like, okay, I'm going to sell out all my binders of all these Vs and VMAXs that I'd have, like, I don't know what to do with. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. Kids still love Pokemon, in case anyone was wondering.
Oh yeah, they do. Yep.
It's very popular with them still. There's a lot of events in my area, smaller events that are like kind of nerdy like that, where it's either Comic-Cons or there's a monthly card. It's mostly sports cards, but I have seen some Pokemon vendors at the fairgrounds near here and stuff. So I might get more into like the local, it'd be nice to meet more people. I met some comic book shop owners that were like, we have Pokemon cards come in all the time. I have no idea what to do with them. So I dropped my, card off with a couple of them. And so who knows if that will produce anything, but and obviously I'll be at Denver Collecticon. I'll have half a booth there to hopefully sell some things too. So looking forward to that.
Got a similar approach to sales, you think, or are you changing it up?
I think this local thing was more like a family oriented thing and less of like a collector oriented thing. Where I think Collecticon is more like collectors. You know, it's like $50 to get in or $40 to get in for the 2 days or whatever. So I feel like people are going on more of a mission. You know, I'll be bringing more graded stuff. Hopefully we'll sell more graded stuff. I will have one binder of singles, modern singles and stuff. But yeah, mostly going to focus on graded stuff and some of the more expensive graded stuff that I have.
Yeah, yeah. No, who are you sharing a booth with?
Peeked at you.
Peeked, yeah. Hell yeah. That'll be cool. You're gonna be in the Pokenomics sphere in that area.
Yeah.
That'll be cool. That'll be cool.
Yeah.
Yep. Look forward to meeting you there, man. That'll be cool. I'll be there Friday late afternoon, 5 o'clock or so. I'll be landing. So when are you going?
I'll get there Thursday afternoon and then staying till Monday. So I'm trying to kind of, I've never been to Denver before. It's always been a city that I've wanted to check out as well. So hopefully I'll have some extra time to really get to see it. So
yeah, heck yeah. Are you staying at the Collecticon Hotel or where are you staying? Yeah.
I am. Yeah. It was I don't know why they keep picking these like $200 and some a night hotels, but yeah, I'll be staying there the whole time.
Yep, $200. Yeah, same as Long Beach. It was $200 a night.
Charlotte was the same way as well.
Was it? Yeah, it seems to be their standard, and there's not even a mountain view from the hotel. I'm kind of sad, but
oh, that's rough. Yeah.
Yeah, I looked at one down the street and had mountain views. I was like, that it's not the Collecticon Hotel. There's not going to be a lot of people there, so
yeah,
I opted to go where the people are. That's more of the reason to go and interact and
Yep, for sure.
So when you were at Charlotte, you were not vending, correct? You were more of tourist and buying. Did you get any huge pickups or?
Yeah, I went just as an attendee. I went with a friend. It was the first time going to Collecticon, so, and I knew that Jake and Dan and Old School were going to be there, so I was like, oh, perfect opportunity, a couple hours away, go meet them, see Collecticon. So we went for the weekend, and I didn't really buy much. I bought a couple things that I had the guys sign for me, and then I bought a MetaZoo Wilderness booster box because someone had them there for like $70 at the time, and everyone else was like 100. So I was like, well, 70 is pretty good. And now it's like down to like 50 or 40 or free really? Or whatever they are. I don't know.
Buy one get one.
I don't know what they are right now, but I think they're cheap unless they've gone up. But yeah, it was a decent deal at the time. Got it autographed at the MetaZoo booth with the different artists drew on little. I ended up opening that, so rip the signatures, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. You own any other MetaZoo, or is that was the one and done?
It's my one sealed collection piece. Is my first edition Cryptid Nation box.
Yep. The price went up right after you bought it, or something.
I bought it at 200, and by the time it shipped to me, it was like 700. And I was like, "Well, I'm not opening this. That's just gonna stay sealed." I think it's down near like 400 or 500 now, if not less. But it peaked at 1,000. I told myself I'm gonna sell this thing if it hits 1,000 because that's ridiculous. And then it hit 1,000, and I just kept it. I was like, "Oh, stupid."
That's a tough call. Yep, it's a tough call, man. It always is. Yeah.
I just think like if I could go back and hold on to a first edition Pokemon booster box for $200, I would. So if MetaZoo turns into anything, people are going to want first edition, Cryptid Nation, and maybe it'll go up over time again.
Yeah, because there's only about 2,500 of the Kickstarter boxes, and that's not a lot. So
yeah,
that's the next best thing. That's for sure.
Yep,
that's crazy. Your YouTube, I had looked back, like, I don't know if they're still on there, looked way back on their channel because it's, how old is it exactly?
I think 6-7 years, maybe.
Yeah,
somewhere around there. Yeah,
old school YouTube.
Yeah, I've been making content for a long time. I was on Facebook the other day. You know how it does the memories?
Yeah.
There was a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 review that I did with my brother, and it was like 10-year-old memory. And I was like, wow. And then I listened to some of it, and I'm like, thank God I'm not like that anymore. It was brutal. But yeah, I've always been in like wanting to review movies, and I went to my first year of college was going to a film school. So I was really into movies when I graduated. I made movies or made short films in high school. And so I always wanted to be like a critic, like a movie reviewer.
Oh yeah.
I always had like all these different sites going and social media pages reviewing movies and all that stuff. So I've always been into critiquing and making content and those types of things. So yeah.
Yeah, I need to see some JavaAkuma movie reviews to some of these new horror movies. I'm a big horror movie buff.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Are you a fan of them at all?
Yeah, I can watch him. I used to not be able to. I used to be terrified of him. And then I think in high school I went through a kick where I just watched like every big horror film. I was just like, you know what, I need to just get over this shit. And so I started watching all that. And now some of my favorite movies are suspense, thriller, horror, stuff. Just because, yeah, it's good stuff.
What's your top 3 if you had to pick movies that have come out in the last 10 years?
Oh, I don't even know if I could give you one right now.
Man.
Because I liked, I'm not into like the slasher, like monster stuff.
Just any movie.
Oh, any movie?
Any movie in the last 10 years.
Top
3.
Inception is definitely one of my favorites. Parasite. It's a Korean film that came out a couple years ago. That was super good. And I really like Gladiator and Last Samurai. Those 2 are really good as well. But yeah.
Not my top 10.
Inception is probably my favorite movie of all time. I think it's up there. That was like right when I was graduating high school, going to film school, and seeing that movie blew my mind. I was like, you can do this? Like that was the movie where I was like, holy shit, like this is possible. It was super cool.
That who's the main actor? Leonardo
DiCaprio. Yeah. Yep.
You see the movie Shutter Island?
Yes. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite movies.
That's a good one too.
I love that effing movie, man. I could watch that every day.
I haven't watched that in a while. I should. I worked in a mom and pop movie rental store for the 4 years of high school.
Nice.
So from like 2006 to 2010, I've probably seen like every movie in that range because they were all playing at the movie rental store. Yeah.
Oh man, there was one Family Video. It's like the nationwide one that just shut down recently. There was one by my house, and I remember just renting systems from there, and all that stuff was it was a riot. Crazy. Yep. Good times, but definitely recommend you doing some critic movie YouTube videos. That'd be pretty funny. Maybe just of YouTube content, maybe not just of movies, like critiquing some YouTube content, and that'd be pretty funny.
I've thought about a format for live streaming because it's not something I do regularly on my YouTube channel, but like playing through the Pokemon games, but having like other PokeTuber content like going in the background and kind of like reacting or giving my thoughts to the thoughts that they're sharing, sort of and critiquing and giving my side of whatever happens. But it's more like reaction style content, but playing a video game at the same time. I think it might be interesting just to have something that you can stream every week. Like you have the auctions every week. So you get to like check in with people live and talk to them for an hour and a half or 2 hours. And I need something like that to kind of constantly be engaging people.
Yep. Yeah. Building the community, talking to the people weekly is awesome. That's the best part about the live streams and stuff like that. Is very cool. Just even if it's 10, 15 people, you get even more to know those people than if it was like one of those Twitch chats where it's like, like you can't even read or mingle with people. You're just like reading random comments. Like, it's definitely cool when it's smaller, for sure. Definitely. Man, you grade anything with BGS? You ever done that?
I haven't. I'm kind of afraid of it. Everyone says that their website is awful, and from what I see, I watched your video where you kind of went through the new design, um,
Yeah.
and I'm just not sure. I think if I was to grade anything, it would be stuff that I couldn't grade elsewhere. So I have like my Full Metal Alchemist stuff. Like you can't grade that with PSA. I don't think. I might just be able to send it to PSA and be like, grade this or send it back to me,
Yeah.
because I think some people do that. But they, CGC doesn't grade them. PSA doesn't grade them, so BGS is kind of would be the go-to for that. But I would have no idea how to submit that, so it would maybe be like a middleman type of thing, possibly at some point. But yeah, I haven't done anything with BGS up until this point. No.
I can't believe CGC doesn't grade them. They grade like every TCG.
They do a lot now. They've expanded a lot.
What size is their cardboard?
I think it's similar to Pokemon, like just a normal card. It might be a little smaller, but I think it's the problem is it's a dead TCG. It's no longer used at all. It's not Weiss. It's just its own thing from early 2004, 2005, whatever it was. So
you should ask them because they do World of Warcraft and that died in like 2009.
CGC does?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, maybe
they
I
do
should
dead
ask.
TCGs. That's the same size as Pokemon, I think. So as
Yeah.
long as it's the same size cardboard, they'd probably do it. So
Interesting.
Could be a play there.
Yeah.
So you're not buying like any sealed modern. It's pretty much just singles, grading, flipping, which is what I've always done until this week, basically. So
yeah, I it's like one of my few clickbait market style videos that I did on my channel. It was something about modern sealed investing is a waste of time or something like that was the title. And the whole point of the video is basically like, it's a waste of time for me because the amount that I could flip with the money that would sit doesn't make sense for me personally. But for people who can't put the amount of hours in that I do, like sealed modern does, it is a play. Obviously it makes sense. I know you just bought a bunch of cases of Lost Origin, which I think is I think Lost Origin is a great set, so it makes sense to me.
Yeah, time is an issue for me, and it makes sense thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, I plan on buying this and letting it at least hopefully double in the next whatever year or so or two. Hopefully it's like Evolving Skies. It's not going to be nearly that level, I don't think, but we'll see. It'll be really interesting to see how it plays out. And I've never done it outside of Evolutions. I bought 10 boxes of Evolutions when I was $100 and got really lucky.
Yeah.
And don't plan on ever getting that lucky again. So
yeah.
That was pretty insane luck out. But yeah, it's crazy times, man. Hopefully, how do you think Pokemon's going to be looking? In like you were saying, the kids are still into it. Do you see us riding into the sunset in our wheelchairs, being old men talking about Pokemon still, or what are you thinking?
I think that's what really made me a lot more confident in what I'm doing, was doing that event and seeing that like 99% of my buyers were young kids. And that to me was just super cool because it's like, okay, yeah, this kid is like 8 years old, 6 years old, whatever, and his mom has to flip through the binder for him, but he's so into Pokemon that they're gonna buy him a couple cards and stuff, and so many kids just walking up and being like, I'm a Pokemon collector too, and like being so proud of it and everything. It was like that to me gave me a lot more confidence in like the future of a lot of what's happening. And they had an affinity for the old stuff. They would see the old stuff in the binder and be like, oh, that's the original Pikachu from whatever year. And it's like, oh wow, that kid actually knows that. Now they would buy the modern stuff because that's what they were into, but they appreciated the old stuff when they saw it. So, or they would be the dad who would be like, oh, those are the cards that I had growing up, and kind of like showing them like. So that gave me a lot of confidence, for the future of Pokemon for sure.
Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome to see how it develops in the next few years. I'd almost like to have like no boom happen again, where we kind of just do maybe a steadily incline of just irregular inflation on prices, and the shit just goes up over time. That'd be cool. But it's going to be here for a while.
Yeah.
I don't see them messing up bad enough to where the IP dies and everything goes under. But it's interesting now, which is kind of why I started playing in some of the modern stuff. Some of the prices some modern cards are able to achieve.
It's pretty wild. Yeah.
With the quantities that are printed in graded condition in a PSA 10, the Moonbryon, for example, like what are your thoughts on that? Like versus like vintage, like I have several vintage like 1999 cards PSA 10 that are cheaper than the Umbreon.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
It's gonna be an unpopular opinion probably. I don't understand it at all. I mean, I feel like everyone has said the same thing. Like, they're gonna make prettier cards. To me, it's not even the best Umbreon alt art. I like the V version better personally. I do think it's a really cool card. It's hard to pull. All of those things. Yes, that all makes sense. It's got like an 80-some% gem rate, I think, or something insane like that. And Evolving Skies, I feel like is just it's the hypest set of the block. So a lot of influencers and everything have been not only talking about the Moonbryon for the last like month,
yeah,
and they've been talking about Evolving Skies for the last year since it came out. So, and everyone's calling it the best set of the Sword and Shield block and all that stuff. So I think when we get a best set of the Scarlet and Violet block, you know, I think people. I think I wasn't in the hobby at this point, but I feel like Hidden Fates was kind of this prior to Evolving Skies coming out. It was like Hidden Fates is the best Pokemon set of all time. How many times did you hear people say that? And now people are saying similar things about Evolving Skies. What Scarlet Violet set's going to come out where people are like, this is the new greatest modern set of all time? You know, so I feel like it's going to ebb and flow. I don't know if the card will come down in price. I have no idea. I would assume so, but that's just I don't know. It's all defied my logic so far. So.
Yep. Yeah. So do you think in a year, 2 years, the price will be higher or lower on the Moonbryon? And why?
Um,
and I'll answer too after.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm not going to know this for sure, but
yeah, we're speculating here.
I would guess it might continue to go up, and then it will go down. Just because what doesn't make sense to me is that the Charizard alternate art, even though it's a V and it might be slightly easier to pull, it's like half the price of the Moonbryon. And Charizard, as much as everyone likes to hate on Charizard, he is the one of, if not the most popular Pokemon in the TCG. And for that card to be half the price of the Umbreon, it makes me feel like it's got to be like artificially inflated somehow. And I think a lot of it is coming from like influencers and people just talking about the Moonbryon constantly and saying Evolving Sky is the best set and all the stuff I said before, basically. So I would think that it in 1 or 2 years is probably coming down, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's definitely what's popular. It's what's in the news, what's being discussed, and that's Evolving Skies is the set still. As far as what's selling the highest, I looked the other day. I looked though there was like only 24 boxes sold at whatever it was, almost $200 though. They're almost $200, or they are $200 now, on TCG Player. So, they're still selling, and the prices are going up. But I definitely think after when the new set comes out, everybody will be looking at the new Pokedex, all these different Pokemon. You start shifting your thoughts to different things because just like base set, there's it's supply and demand in my opinion. So there's I guess not tons and tons of supply of the Moonbrons in PSA 10 for the quantity of people that are looking for the card because that's all everybody's talking about. Just like when the supply and demand for base set went through the roof with Logan and all of that stuff. So the supply there was so low, the prices went insane. $6,000 PSA 9 base unlimited Charizard is absurd. So just that there wasn't enough supply to go around, so that's what we saw.
Yeah.
So it'll be really, really interesting also to see how that develops. And it's modern's crazy. It's just
it's odd to see the booster box nearly at $200 because I mean I've opened Evolving Skies. That set sucks to open. Like it's terrible to open. And for that to be $200 and for the Moonbryon, if you really want a Moonbryon to be like 350, 400, you can break 2 boxes and probably not even make half your money back on Evolving Skies, or you could just buy the Moonbryon for the price of 2 boxes, which you might as well just do.
Yeah.
Because the EV, I would assume, what I have experienced is the EV out of those boxes is horrible. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yep. Yeah, I opened I think one box on my channel, or maybe not even on my channel. Pulled the Leafeon alt art, which that was luck. It's all it is, gambling. So you're definitely better off just buying the Moonbryon, which it seems people are doing because the price keeps going up. So
yeah. And maybe that has something to do with it. Like people want to buy the single because they don't want to break it because they're going to spend too much money trying to do that. So yeah, who knows?
They keep getting punished. They're like, all right, I've learned my lesson. I'll just buy the freaking card now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. You ripping any Japanese sets at all? You obviously got the Radiant Charizard and some of those cards. You ripping any more or no?
So similar to like what you're doing with Lost Origin, I think with V-Star Universe is kind of the VMAX climax of this year coming out at the end of the year. I think I want to buy a case of that. I've never bought a case of a Japanese set. I've bought a case of English. I've never bought a case of Japanese. And the whole Japanese to CGC to get tens and flip and stuff is appealing to me. It's just kind of fun to do. And I feel like if the Charizards and the Mewtwo and those cards from the premium collection and stuff are going to be in V-Star Universe, it will have a really fun chase as well. So yeah, I'll probably end up getting a case of that.
Yeah, and having just bought Modern and really started looking at grading some Modern to flip, getting punished, and I probably should have just went with Japanese because they way better gem rate probably on some of the cards because there's so much whitening on these freaking, they're not even V, like they're holographic full art cards, and it's insane. The print quality is so bad on English cards.
All of my character rares, I opened quite a lot of Lost Origin, a box or two. All the character rares had like hair coming off the edges because they were so poorly cut.
Yep.
Brutal. So yeah, I mean, I feel you there for sure. It's pretty rough.
I got when I don't know if you watched the video, I accidentally won a Heart Gold Soul Silver pack off Whatnot. All of those cards are like PSA 7. Every single card in the pack. Wow. There's so much whitening on every card.
Yeah, I remember seeing. Yeah,
it is just, it is insane. Like, it made me want to go look and buy PSA 10 commons and reverses from that set because I'm like, this is the worst print quality I've ever seen in my freaking life. I don't know what they were smoking. Must have been doing something illegal inside of the building at that point. Is crazy to me. Crazy. You have obviously you got a job. Are you working at all in video now, or is it something completely different?
Completely. Well, it's web design. So I'm a web design developer. So I took college was weird, man. I spent a lot of money going to film school for a year and then realized that getting a job as a editor or director or whatever I wanted to be at the time was just not realistic. So I went for business for a while and then took a web design class at some point. Was like, wow, this is really cool. I can, it's kind of the future. Everyone needs a website and I can be artistic and do that. So then I transitioned into doing that. 6 years of college later, I got a job as a web designer, and so I've been doing web design development for the last 5 years or so.
Oh yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
very cool, very cool. Yeah, college is a son of a bitch.
Yeah, especially if you waffle and don't know what you want to do, for sure.
Yeah, it's there definitely should be people with careers that work at the colleges that are there to give you some intelligence of like, hey, you probably shouldn't go get this philanthropy degree in reviewing gazelles or something. Like, you probably shouldn't do that. I don't even know why our college is offering it, but you shouldn't do it. And like, I don't know, there's so many degrees out there that are like sus almost, like.
Yeah. You're going to have a hard time getting a job and then making any sort of decent money to pay off the loans you're going to have to take to get that degree. So yeah.
Yeah, it's
can be brutal.
Yeah, my sister went similar route you did. She went to Columbia Art School, Chicago for video, and minor in comedy, and wanted to be a writer. Finished her 4 years, lives in LA, and basically trying to make it. Works at HBO Max now after being there for 4 years, and is an assistant. And it's definitely that industry and is just a freaking grind.
It's cutthroat, yeah.
Yep. You got to know people, and it's just all marketing yourself, and it's crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
Nothing like I'm in automotive, and it's completely different here. It's wild.
Yeah.
Yep. It's crazy. That's good, man. But I really appreciate you kicking me in the balls to do the podcast.
Yeah, no problem.
It's been a long time coming. I've been almost a month off on doing this, and I miss doing it, talking shop with the guys, and yeah, I definitely gonna get back in this. I did it like weekly for a while there, and I hoping to get back in the swing of things, and putting some feelers out there with some other contacts, and hopefully get it done. But probably gonna wrap it up here, and appreciate you coming on, man. Honestly,
yeah, of course.
I couldn't recommend your channel enough. Great guy, JavaAkuma. I'm gonna have all your stuff linked down below in the description. But man, it's appreciate you, everything you do. Definitely, you're keep up the great work, great content. The community and just everything that's developing around you is awesome. Great people.
Yeah, thanks, man. You too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, appreciate it. But
thanks for having me on. Yeah.
Oh yeah, anytime, man. Hope doors open anytime. I'm in Discord. You can hit the message or hit the call button. I'm there for you. So
cool.
But yeah, man, I gonna send it off. I need to get some sleep. I went to work way too early this morning, but appreciate you coming on, man. I will definitely
go. Can I do a little plug?
Yeah, plug it all, man. Plug it away.
So I am lucky enough I'll be able to go back to Japan in November, and I'm planning to do a lot of content, like actually going to Japanese card shops and stuff while I'm there, and hunting for deals and things while actually in Japan. So it should be a really cool experience. If you guys are, want to check any of that stuff out, should be coming soon. I'll be there in November, and probably a whole bunch of videos after that. So
yeah, so now you just jogged my memory on that. You're not going to be able to upload, do you think, while you're there, or kind of just be upload when you get back?
Probably when I get back. I think I want to try and stream maybe from the hotel a couple times, do something fun, but yeah, probably will edit everything when I get back and then put videos out weekly or bi-weekly or whatever. So
yeah, what about now Worlds? Is that door open to you now that they've kind of changed the rules? You think you might be going next year?
I don't know if this was one thing I was thinking about today. So Pokemon is very popular here.
Yeah.
It is insane in Japan. And I can only imagine, like, there's part of me that thinks that there's a possibility that they could limit the number of tickets they're willing to sell to foreigners. That's very possible to me, because I think they're going to have an insane turnout of their own in their own country of Japanese people who are super into Pokemon.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be, I can imagine it's probably going to be insane. Like the amount of artists they could have signing there because they all live in Japan, like all that stuff. It could be insane. So I don't know if I would want to go to something that would be that insane. I know that my brother and I are planning a trip to go back next fall. So probably we'll do like another November, October trip or something like that next year. Because he really wants to go and I really want to take him since he's never been. So,
well. Heck yeah. No, well, next time I go, if I ever go, you'll be the guy I call and hit up and ask for an itinerary. And
yeah.
No, that's awesome, man. That'll be sick. Definitely looking forward to seeing some of those vlogs and stuff. Vlog style videos like that, going through card shops and just looking at all the different prices. That it's definitely something I thoroughly enjoy. It's same with like collecticons, just people flipping through cards and just talking and mingling.
Yep.
Is there much of a language barrier there for you?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I've been in touch with someone recommended a guy who I think he's Australian or from Europe somewhere. He owns a shop in Tokyo called Card Secret, and he has a pretty popular Instagram as well. But I've been trying to reach out to him to see if I could do like a tour of his store and then maybe an interview with him while I'm there. So hopefully he gets back to me on that because I think that would be really cool to get his thoughts on like what a foreigner owning a store in Japan and mingling with the Japanese market and Japanese people and how that all kind of works. That would be a really fun video to do, but we'll see if he gets back to me.
You gotta definitely ask him what he thinks about us crazy Americans buying Aerodactyls for over $100, and they were selling their like dirt cheap still. But
yep,
yeah, we're a little crazy here for some weird things, that's for sure.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, definitely glad you reminded me about Worlds. I completely just glanced over it in my my list of things, just lost in my brain. But
No,
again, man,
good.
yeah, definitely. I appreciate it, and definitely looking forward to the Japan vlog videos. That'll be sick. I definitely a place. Hopefully, I get to go to in my lifetime.
Highly
It's a
recommend.
long flight. Long flight.
Very long. I think my itinerary is like 16 hours or something like that, and the flight's like 13 hours there. So it's brutal, but it's worth it.
Yeah, Europe for me, 8 hours is about my max. So
Yeah,
it's that'd be tough. Best of luck. You going business class though, right?
Well, not right now, but I may upgrade when I get closer. Yeah, we'll see.
It's like, man, I want to lay down so bad right now.
Yeah, the first time I went, I was able to lay down. I upgraded to pretty much business class, whatever Delta's Comfort Plus or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I was able to lay down on the way back in the three seats. I was on the end and there was a guy on the window, so that one was brutal. I was dead on the way back, but yeah.
Yeah, you gotta sleep on those flights, or otherwise you lose your freaking mind. You'll be the first 48 hours be a wash when you're over there, just like zombie-fied.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you very much for having me on. I really appreciate it, man.
Definitely. I will be in touch, man. Appreciate it. I will talk to you real soon though, man.
Sounds good.
All right.